Hey everyone, and welcome back to TwoSun Tuesday, and a little bit of deja vu from last week. I have another Wong design here in brass with titanium. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. This was the one I did last week, the TS372. This one's got a similar number, it's the 371. Alright, they weren't released at the same time, but that's okay. This one, the brass has some gear kind of machining going on both of them. Still has that bead blast kind of finish there. You can see I have a couple of snail trails on here. And this one also does have a front flipper. We got a little bit more jimping there. It doesn't go all the way over, but still rather easy to deploy with that finger over the top kind of way that we got going on here. We also have titanium thumbstuds here. Well, I'm going to call them thumbstuds, and you can see how close they ride to the actual scales here. And they're not actually acting as a blade stop pin or anything like that, but they are very, very close. But it does give you a little bit more of a pad on either side to go along with the jimping back there. I think it feels pretty darn comfortable. And the way that we have the finger choil up front here doesn't really get into the blade path, except for maybe just the very, very last portion going on there. This one has titanium scales, or subliners or whatever, but this one is actually a steel liner lock on the inside. It's not a titanium frame lock, so that's going to be a little bit different. We do have this hole kind of machined out, going in for a little lanyard hole thing. This pocket clip, I am not going to mince words. This thing is really difficult to get into a pocket. Doesn't seem necessarily like it would be. It's got a decent ramp to it, and it's got some 3D to it. It's not just a single point there. But this clip is so stiff, it's real difficult. Getting it out of the pocket, not all that big of a deal, but getting it into the pocket is something that you will probably need to break your concentration on whatever you're doing to pay attention and really put a lot of pressure on it to get it back in your pocket. It's a little unfortunate, but it's just kind of the way that this particular knife is designed here. So yeah, I opened it via the front flipper here first. There we go. There's the thumb studs. Works super nice and well. I don't really have any problems with it. I wouldn't have minded having some sort of texturing instead of it just being nice and smooth. But that being said, with you being able to just put your thumb out instead of doing kind of an outward motion, works pretty much the same way that I would expect from other thumb stud knives. This thing is strange that it does have these washers on here to attach the brass on there. It does kind of give it, I don't know, maybe silver so it'll match the blade, just having a different piece there or something like that. I don't necessarily know the reason for it. I mean, obviously they have it machined underneath there to accept those. So this wasn't a kludge or anything like that, but it's just kind of the way Wong wanted to make this particular knife look. This one, unlike the other one, yeah, it's a bit smaller. Let's see, now that I think about it, we'll pull out the Kershaw leak, and yeah, that's quite a bit more in line with that. This one still has much more of an arch to it, so more of a modified Warncliffe sort of thing going on there. But as far as the blade and about the handle ratio, they're fairly similar. Obviously, the Kershaw leak is about 1,000 times thinner than this thing is in particular. Let's see. I do have the stats for this guy here. And it is 0.59 of an inch, or 15.1 millimeters. So, yeah, quite a bit thicker. This one in particular, the brass is actually inlaid a bit into these titanium liners, I guess, for the lack of a better term on there. And we do have just a little tiny bit up top here that could maybe bite you if you had some slim fingers on there. It's a little close to the top. Not nearly as much as it seems to be on some others, but hey, I should point it out when I see it. This one has an internal blade stop pin, so it's one going through the blade itself, not one that's just sitting stationary in between those liners there. And that does help a little bit as far as side-to-side play goes. You can have your pivot just a little bit looser and still have that same nice solid feel to it. So that's pretty good. Let's see. And yeah, the blade does feel quite a bit similar to the this guy, the 371 here. Almost kind of looks like it's just a little bit taller than you know, if you cut off after the flat grind up top there. Yeah, it's at least in the same ballpark. I can tell he definitely designed these right around the same time, as he was kind of in the same mindset going on here. The plunge grind, again, pretty darn good. Not, you know, absolutely super crazy fast of a drop off, but it does end way over there. So you do have quite a few sharpenings there before you run into any problems. All right. For me, this seems to be mostly a 3-finger knife, but you can choke up using that partial blade choil in there if you do want a full 4-finger grip. Or if you have normal sized hands, this will probably be a full 4-finger grip knife for you. Just really depends on you know, how wide your hand is with the knuckles and everything like that. With me, I got the 4-inch gap there, so yeah, it makes it a little bit more difficult for a full 4-finger grip. But there we go. Let's see. The blade stock on this thing is a little bit thinner than TwoSun normally ends up doing on some knives. This is 3.45 millimeters, which, I mean, unless you're getting into some of the slip joints, this is, you know, quite thin as far as TwoSun standards go, as 3.8 seems to be about the the normal sort of thing going on there. But still, very, very nice geometry. Very, very similar to the one I took a look at last week. Comes down basically to the same thinness behind the edge as I poke up into that. Didn't cut myself? No. Okay, good. Yeah. And we do have a nice bit of tip up there, but it is thinner than the tip is on this guy here. So it helps out for doing a little bit more utilitarian work. And the pinch grip for this thing obviously works really, really well for that, in case you don't actually want to slap your thumb on the top of the blade there. And reverse grip, I've used that quite a bit, you know, if I'm cutting up through some cardboard or rope or whatever else I might be cutting. Works out super, super great that way. Reverse grip, it's a little weird. You know, just generally not what I assume that this knife would be easily used for. For one, for me, I really do kind of need a full 4-finger grip if I want to use a reverse hammer grip. And I want something a little bit more comfortable at the back end for my thumb to curl around. So probably not the best in that particular situation. You're much better off in your standard saber or hammer grips. Well, there we go. Let's see. So, I did a little bit of stuff going on with some stats. How about if I go ahead and finish that out? We got a 3.18-inch blade from the back of the handle scales out to that tip there. That would be 80.7 millimeters for geometrically inclined. We got 4.36 ounces, so still not a super, super lightweight knife, but you can see how thick it is with titanium and brass. That's 123.5 grams. And yeah, I covered the other ones there in the video. So how about if we do some more blade comparisons here? Let's go with my bench Mades. And the 940 is definitely larger, but it has similar kind of ratios going on to the bug out here. Let's see, why not? We got the K-bar Dozier folding hunter, and sure, this is going to dwarf it. The Ontario rat number 1. I think the rat number 2 would probably still be just a touch larger than that guy. All right, and how about if we end off on Spyderco or 2? We got the PM2, super big here. The Endura, I don't really necessarily think that was super appropriate. This would probably be much more of a Delica territory, so 2 sizes down from here. quite a bit smaller, but hey, the Endura is apparently now a gigantic knife, whereas it seemed to be just a standard sized knife back in the early 2000s when I was selling them among many others at my cutlery shop. But okay, so that's the standard review. I do believe I've covered everything that I wanted to cover in that particular thing there. So if that's what you stopped by for, appreciate y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe if that's something that you feel like doing. I know that's a gigantic pain in the ass if somebody's watching on a TV or something like that. Completely understand. I do the same thing. But, all right. Glad you were aboard. For the rest of us, though, we are going to take this thing apart. Why? Because I enjoy doing that. So let's pull this pocket clip out first. It goes right in the center of that gear. It does kind of have a literally a D shape to it. So nice. Not that brass is super soft, but it's still nice when you actually have that extra rigidity built in. And pop goes the weasel. Here we are. And yes, you can see this is a steel insert here. So we don't need a hardened steel insert or anything like that, because it already is. That would be the screw to remove that. The other one does go into the pocket clip there to have it attached in 2 places there. And then, of course, we have the screw there in the middle for the brass. Then we can pull these guys off, and we got their super tiny little ceramic bearings here. These are the size that Max Chachuk usually uses in most of his knives. Whether or not they're larger or not, he just tends to like the smaller size there. They can work out, and this one is certainly proof of that as far as an action sort of thing goes. But usually with these ones, as you can see here, there is a little bit of a line here on the pivot washers. But they don't actually have a race in there like their larger ones. So you have a little bit less of a chance of having super good action going on there. I could remove these. I suppose I should. I'll do it on... Nah, I'll keep that one in. We'll do it over here. Let's see. Is that a T8? Hey, it is a T8. Okay, so we can pull that off, and that... Oh, I gotta pull off both of those. Alright, and then attempt to lever this guy out. Let's see. Where is... There it is. My little pry tool here. I can go from either side, because there is just a little bit you can see there. Sure, I'm scraping it up probably just a little bit, but that's also the part that's hidden. Yeah, this one is kind of a pain to actually break free. Maybe I'll do it on the other side. T6 for the liner there. That's a little interesting. Maybe not super ideal, but that's what happened. Okay. Come on out, you. Well, that's not what I wanted out, but I will take it. There we go. Yeah. Jeez, I'm just fumbling everywhere. But, alright, that's all I really wanted to end up getting out there is, it is an inlay, not an onlay. But you could probably tell as soon as I pulled the darn thing off with the little, what looks to be pivot thingy going on here. But, Alright, let's get this thing all sorts of back together. That is not the right screw. I will, however, I suppose, reattach this one first, since it is, actually the T6, the only T6, so I can definitely get that out of the way. It would help if I actually had the liner in here. Man, it's almost like I'm not professional at doing this or anything. Alright. So there we go. That is now nice and attached. Yeah, I really want to say that that is the one that goes there. This one is, as I remember, a little bit more of a difficult thing to get in there because of this steel disc. There we go. Yeah, we're back in there. Okay, cool. So now it's super easy to actually slap this thing back together. We got the pivot here, not really a D shape, which I usually like to see, but I know it is much more difficult to do on these much smaller ones here. So I'll give them a pass for it. Why not? We got an internal blade stop pin, so I don't have to worry about that. We got that there. And then we have the other bearing race. And yes, we are in there. Let's grab the one screw that's just a little bit larger than the other ones for the pivot there. Good, good, good. And then I can go ahead and put the rest of this crap back in here. Yeah, this one is just a little bit more involved than some of the others. A little bit of extra hardware. Yeah, that little short one should go on there, right? All right. Just gave me a little bit of problems with the threading on it, but whatever. We're done and over with it. All right, it's as simple as that. Yeah, it's probably just a little too tight. Oh yeah, I could probably actually tighten that up just a little bit more to help with that detent rebound that you saw there with it bouncing off. There we go. Yeah, we're all back together. So, hooray! I do like this thing quite a bit. Like I said earlier in the video, that I do kind of want to reiterate. This pocket clip is really difficult to work with, which keeps it out of my pocket a little bit more than I would probably like, since I do enjoy this thing quite a bit. But other than that, pretty darn nice knife, and a very different and unique look to it, which, I mean, Wong usually knocks out of the park. He does a lot of simpler designs too, but yeah, he does quite a bit of art in his own time, so this is definitely an example of, some of the little more interesting design elements that he likes to bring into his design sometimes. But, all right. As always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo.